And that same question. When you speak to any of the South African local oaks, everybody's like, stop the carbs, no carbs, carbs. Yet I tell my clients all the time, don't stop the carbs, chow the carbs, eat the carbs. But now the question as well is like, okay, so how much carbs? And what kind of carbs? And when do you eat? Like, what's your carb to protein ratio as well? How long do you prepare for your competition? And what's your protein carb ratio?
It's quite simple. It's personal. So depends the state when you start dieting. So, for instance, you want to compete in 3 months. First of all, you're too late.
Oh.
Because your off-season is not as good as it should be. Because I'm concerned about your legs now. We have moved forward, as I told you. I said so. Maintain a good lifestyle, good eating habit, in order for you not to go to a level where after, when you want to lose a little bit of body weight and body fat, you will struggle. Because you maintain all the time, all year around, very good habit.
But now my medical doctor, and I always go together with my wife to the doctor. Okay, so when I was now talking about that, and he said, Dick, he said, you must not forget, you're getting older and now your muscles are getting...
Maybe your doctor wants to keep you as a client.
He doesn't want me to exercise, so that they can go there often.
Yes.
but now I'm serious. Is age a very difficult factor to maintain, say, a flat stomach?
No.
Or is it just a question of what you said, food and exercise, that is the main?
Mainly food. Mainly food.
No,
I know it's a subject people don't want to go in.
Okay.
Especially when we like to eat, especially weekend. But we start Monday.
Everybody always thought one day. And on that question, this is the thing that I find with a lot of my clients. Their social life tends to stand in the way of the progression. When it comes to specifically alcohol, how does that affect the body when it comes to the bodybuilding? Because as far as my knowledge goes, it's an empty carb. It does nothing for the body. The body doesn't know what to do with it, and that's where women get cellulite and men get flat.
Yes.
So I just want to...
Alcohol, it's calorie. You have, I don't know, maybe someone knows, maybe 7 calories for 1 centiliter or something like that. I don't know precisely, maybe more for 1 centiliter. So it's calories. The more you drink, the more calorie you get into your body. And also, when you drink alcohol, you slow down your metabolism. And when you drink alcohol, the tendency is to feel good. That's why we drink alcohol. So we have a beer or 2 or wine or whatever we have, alcohol, we feel good. When we feel good, we want more than the alcohol now. So we are not as conscious as we are than if we don't drink. So now we are permissive, I would say. Now we can go and eat food and we can eat what we want and we don't have much control. And of course the alcohol itself it's a problem, a concern, because we have too many calories. And then after, because we feel good, we have the tendency to eat and eat more and pick up the wrong food. And so the mix is not really appropriate. But I would say drink alcohol, no problem, but in moderation. You want a whiskey? My grandma had every night her whiskey, 1 whiskey. My grandma, yes, and she felt good, and she had heart problem, and it was good for her heart. The doctor advised her to have 1 whiskey, and maybe she lived that long because she had 1 whiskey, but she didn't have the bottle.
My question is basically about the principle of muscle building in relation to weight loss. I read about Jamie Phillips' technique where he says the foundational principle is micro-injury on cellular level. I'd like to ask your opinion about that. So is that the way you see the muscle expanding, or is it by multiplication of cells or cell growth, Or what is your foundational principle?
Multiplication of cell while you train is something possible, but you have to go to a very high level of training intensity in order to do so. And it's very difficult. You need to have the ability, a lot of resources, to train very, very hard, very intense. I don't think we can do that because we are in our 50, you and I. But we can still stimulate muscle growth and still grow to a certain level at our age if we train with an almost perfect form of execution, because now we use only the muscle that will be exercised, will be stimulated, will be isolated through motion, through repetition, through an entire set of repetition. So it's more for us about form of execution, full range of motion, slow motion, going to a muscle failure relatively carefully, not especially at the beginning of the training. So you improve the difficulty a bit. And this is, I will say, the key, and something that we will show you thereafter in the seminar, that can influence muscle growth. Maybe not to split the muscle, but just to make the muscle fiber just to grow.
Thank you.
I have a question about the technical correctness of exercise.
Yes.
For example, when you train your muscles, are you stretching and bending them as much as possible? For example, when you do something for the legs, you have weight on your shoulders, you go down. Some people are going really with the butt completely down on the floor. Some are stopping when the legs are in this 90 degrees angle. What you can say about that, how much should stretch?
So if I understood you correctly, while you're doing some repetition, you make sure that you do full range of motion, stretching the muscle fully and contracting the muscle fully? Yes, that's what I do.
Yeah.
It's part of my training methodology. Moreover, in between sets, I also like to stretch my legs if I do the quads, for example, or hamstring or biceps and all. Because stretching the muscle thereafter a set make you allowed to recover faster your body and also the muscle, because you remove lactic acid from the muscle, and so you can go faster to the next set. So it's good. And also, stretching the muscle makes you to link your brain to the muscle exercise, so you stay focused.
Yeah.
So it's a plus, because you have to focus if you really want to obtain maximum results.
So you would really recommend stretching in between each and every set?
Yes. And stretching in between each and every set makes your muscle to be more supple, more flexible, and to even improve your range of motion. So you can go through a larger, longer range of motion, because you stretch the muscle, you prepare the muscle for more motion.
You know, I learned a game today. I can tell you now, okay, I never stretch.
You never
Stretch
stretch very well.
my muscles.
So Monday, when you will be in season, you
I
start
go to
stretching.
I go to the gym and I ask him, okay, give me some stretching exercises. You get it?
No, because I stretch all the time. I'm terrible at the stretching. It's
And when we get older, it's very important to stretch, because we keep flexibility and functionality. And it's good for the articulation, the tendon, the ligaments, the muscle. And it relieves stress, not only in an area, but also everywhere. So you have more ability to train harder, heavier. I'm going to the youngster. Harder, heavier.
Two questions. First
Yes.
one regarding carb cycling. So on season the whole year round, to create a separation but without breaking muscle fibers. Your opinion on carb cycling, because there's a lot of rumors or opinions regarding maintaining a certain amount of carbs during the day, and then guys going 4 days without eating carbs, one day hitting it hard, then 4 days without eating carbs again. But as I said, without breaking muscle fibers or breaking down muscle.
Yeah, that's your concern, obviously, because you want to keep muscle integrity. You work hard in order to develop your muscle. Now you're dieting. You don't want to lose any muscle, which it's
Especially regarding keeping that separation, as you said, not overeating during off season, to maintain that hardness, that fullness, but still not breaking down muscle. What would your opinion be on ratios of carbs to protein, not to build, but to maintain at a high intensity training level?
Okay. The first thing you must do is to look carefully in a mirror in order to assess your condition, and you say, okay, I'm pleased with that, or I want to refine a little bit even if I'm off season. So that's the first thing. Then you have to monitor your carbs intake. For instance, the first advice is eat more carbs when you have more appetite for carbs, or it's more suitable. Either it is before training, long before, because you want to assimilate and digest the carbs in order to use it meaningfully through your training, or thereafter your training session. So there is some meal you will realize by yourself, I am actually more hungry for my third meal or fourth meal or a first meal. Go for it and have more carbs. But do not necessarily have the same carbohydrate intake during the day for each meal. So you can play with it in relation to what you sense, what you feel, and what you need the most.
Because there's, on a daily basis, I change everything from other oats on a high calorie day to sweet potato, baked potatoes, or brown rice. So it depends on what you train, but to maintain a safer, low calorie, but without breaking down muscle, how would you explain carb cycling? What would you prefer for carb cycling?
So that's off season still.
On season.
In season, on season. Sorry.
Maintaining a separation, a good separation, a holder muscle.
So it will depend of the date of your show. So if you are, for example, 3 months from your show, you have to do it a certain way. Now if you are 2 months or 1 month, so that you must consider that. But I would say also look at the mirror, merely at the mirror, and this is your guide. This will tell you, okay, I have a date, I have 90 days, I'm safe, I still want to eat carbs when I need the most, as I said earlier, because this is where it will be more utilized. And I don't want to gain body fat when I use carbs and I don't really need, and it will therefore not be utilized properly. So that's also something. And you keep this strategy all the time through the show. All the time. Obviously, you will reduce mostly your carbohydrates. The more you reduce your carbohydrate, as you know, you must maintain high level of protein in order to maintain muscle integrity and not to lose it. 2.5, 3 grams of protein, it doesn't really matter. The most important is how you assimilate your protein. But high protein, obviously, intake, in order to feed your muscle and to keep maximally your muscle integrity.
The worst of all is your own worst critic. So for me, it's hard to look at the muscle in the mirror and see I'm maintaining muscle, but losing size, as you said, but maintaining a order before a competition where I saw a lot of guys do a carb depletion 2, 3 times before show. Day on the show, they would look their worst. They're bloated.
So when they did carb depletion and carb loading, they didn't do a meaningful job. Maybe 3 times wasn't enough, or each time they apply the same strategy. You start applying one strategy, you drop your carbohydrates, and then after you load with more carbohydrate. If this doesn't give you the look you really like when you're already defined, change this strategy, improve this strategy in order to look better and better. But if you do the same 3 times, it's 3 times for nothing. It's like if it's for nothing. So you have to change with the idea to improve each carb loading. Of course, carb depletion and carb loading. So after, when you are at the show, you know precisely how many days you have to deplete, how many days you have to load, which will be the content of your ratio in between protein and carbohydrates, and which will be also the carbohydrate choice that suits you best. Maybe sweet potato, rice, I don't know. Maybe sweet potato suits you, maybe not. Maybe rice.
Would you say the whole carb loading depletion is all personal according to the body type, or is there a formula that everybody can follow?
No, I mean, I will say that it is obviously a personal based on how you look 3 months or 4 months during this phase up to your competition date. But it's never, I will say, general. The guideline is general. The procedure is general. But the quantity must be individual and tailored to suit your need and your shape you want to achieve.
So that's part of the reason why one actually has to be in shape the whole year round, so that you can play with that the whole year round, so that you can constantly see, because if you're too fat to actually see what the carbs do with your conditioning, then you can't know.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the more in advance you will be in shape, the more you can play with it. And the more chance you will have to succeed with this depletion, loading carbohydrates, and look the best on stage.
It was actually quite interesting to me when I phoned Adele the one day, and she said, "No, you're getting ready for the show now already." And I know the show's this was like quite a while ago already, and I know the show is only in 3 months. How long do you normally take to get ready for a show?
I mean, the exhibition I will be doing in India on Monday will be in 4 weeks from today.
Oh.
But I was already in good shape a month ago, not as good as today. And the more I will progress toward the date, the more in shape I will be. But off-season, I maintain a good lifestyle in order to function well. Because if you don't maintain a good lifestyle all year round, what will happen? You will not train, I will say, effectively and productively all year round. And what you want is to stimulate muscle growth all year round. You don't want only to stimulate muscle growth 3 or 6 months during the year. You want to do it 12 months. You want to be effective, productive. You don't want to waste time, energy, and effort. You want to be good all the time. And the difference in between the winner and the one who will not be a winner is the most dedicated bodybuilder, the one who will have the most passion, drive, will, in order to achieve his objective. With no excuse. Excuse come when we don't have solution. I'm not saying people who have excuse, they are lazy or this or that. They are not. But they do not have the information. So the more information you have, the more precise you can be with your preparation, and the more chance you can have to succeed.
Busy in the beginning on the topic of the legs.
Yes.
Do you want to come back to that?
So the legs also, what is important is to walk toward your weak point, which means the lack of definition you do have. When you do squat, when you do hack squat or press, it's good for someone who don't have issue with thighs definition. But if you do have an issue with thighs definition, I will recommend mostly the leg extension.
Okay. Like how would you, because obviously, you know, now it's the whole question of, when it comes to leg size, thank the Lord, I don't actually have an issue there. So I love the strength training, but would you say now, because now there is the whole thing about, you got big muscles from big weights. So now there is the thing of, don't go to the much smaller weights, because that does take more energy to lift the bigger weights anyway. So it is going to give more definition. And if you just like slightly drop it more weight, like would you rather go into the hundreds of reps, much more negatives? Would you go a little bit heavier, like you had a good with the squatting, for instance? How would you squat heavier? Would you do more sets?
In your case, I will not squat.
Oh.
I will do leg extension. Because you have a weak point. That is muscle definition.
Okay, so it's just leg extension.
For now, yes. And you will see more definition, even if you change nothing about the content of your bodybuilding preparation. So first you realize that. Now you trust the exercise and the definition causing by this specific exercise and procedure during doing the exercise, during the day.
Okay.
And now you trust the exercise, so now you want to go there. You're scared to change. Why? Because you have big thighs, thanks to heavy squat and leg press and all these things. You don't want to lose your size. But you will not lose the size, even though you switch to leg extension. The idea is to stimulate muscle growth with the leg extension, not with the squat anymore. Besides that, when you do a squat, there is not only one muscle coming into play, moving the resistance. When you do a squat, but you have the hamstring, you have the glutes to move the resistance. But more than that, more than other muscle, you have also the way you do a squat. So if you do a squat and you slightly bend over, now you're choosing an angle that allows you to squat heavy. Now if I say, okay, do the same, squat, but instead to lean forward, you just stay normal. I'm not saying straight, normal. Now you have to drop 30 kilo or 20 kilo on the bar. But you have more weight in the thighs. So it's a better choice. What is the better choice? To have 180 kilo and to choose an angle that allows you to move 180 kilo up and down, or to drop 30 kilograms and to do it with different angle on your thighs with 150 kilo.
You were saying about guys over the age of 40
Yes.
losing. Why do you use leg muscle, not other muscle?
Because the other muscles are easier to maintain. Because they are easier to work out.
Okay.
And I find with this training methodology, they are not, with the legs are not more difficult. That's the beauty of this method. You can still grow your legs even if you are 40, 50. Yes. Yeah? We go to muscle failure. You see, as if, but put yourself, hey, you're not in a couch here. Put your hand.
Come on. Relax. On the beach, visualizing.
Yeah, you know what he said? He said, this method is too easy for me. That's what he said.
That's a bit arrogant.
Again? Go slowly now. I'm going to help you. Only the muscle work. You see, definitely. Only the muscle work. That's what you want. Perfect. Go slowly. Shoulder down a little bit. Voila. And you will sense the muscle working, and you can come and touch the
It's
muscle.
amazing. The moment he does it right, you can actually see the muscle like immediately.
Shoulders down.
Yeah, because you see, you sense the muscle working. And as I said earlier, the most important thing is the sensing. And you can. Why it's hard? Because all the muscle fiber come into play. Now if you go like that, the shoulder come into play, the speed come into play. Body leverage. Angle of work is important. You see the angle of work? Very good. Touch my hand. Yes.
There you go.
Even more.
Tuck it
So he's
right there.
excellent.
Excellent. And it's a great example because he has definition. So you can see through the skin what is happening. And at the end of his set, the triceps will be denser, fuller, and more defined. And you will not go on and on doing sets. A few limited sets will be enough for triceps. Move on now. Don't do too much. If you do too much,
So when you say it's actually not true, you won't need as much time if you're going to go slower.
all stress we have in life can be comparable to a training. Training is very stressful, so the less stressful it is at the beginning, the better. And you improve the stress situation. It's like when you go out with your car in the morning, you stress. And then after a few hours, you drive, and even if traffic, no problem. You have adapt. You have adapt to this level of stress. So you're cool. Something here. So don't go too fast.
And this is also obviously, because I mean, you're 50, you said you're 57 years old, and you don't have any joint problems as far as I know.
No.
And it's because of that type of training.
I started this procedure after the Australian Grand Prix in 2006. Because it was so taxing, so demanding my preparation, that I said, I am not going to train that hard in order to maintain my muscle size. And moreover, I couldn't train that hard, even if I was only 48 then. Why? Because the body has an ability to cope with this stress of exercising, of this form of exercising for a while. 3 months, 4 months is good. When you have the motivation, the will, you have the Grand Prix, the comeback and all these things, it's okay. But after, I have no motivation. I want to train that hard. And what's happened after all my competition, all, national level, European, World, Olympia, I lose the game. Why?
Motivation.
Yes, but too taxing, too demanding, this type of training. Stressful. So I changed my training approach. And today, this is what I'm proposing, a new training approach. That you can maintain 12 months a year. Even when you compete,